Hey everybody, welcome to the first basic tutorial in this channel, and we need to explain some basic concepts that you're going to need to know. If you want to get data, manipulate data, display data in any sort of application, you're first going to need to understand what that data looks like. And the best tool I know for how to illustrate this is called NodeRed. IBM built this platform about 5 years ago as of the recording of this video. It was released in 2015. It's completely free. Anybody can use it for whatever purpose they want. And it does a lot of the things we're talking about doing as far as building simple applications by just dragging and dropping functions. What I've got here is a trigger that pulls tweets from a Twitter account and returns the messages to me programmatically. And what we're getting at here is not necessarily what the data is, but what the structure of it is. You need to know what it looks like and how you process it. And this is actually very simple. So what I've got here is a trigger similar to what you would have on Zapier. If you've ever used Zapier to tie together two cloud services, you can set this to go at certain intervals, whether it be seconds, minutes, hours. This doesn't cost $30 to $300 a month. This is free, so there's that. But the concept is the same. In our case, we're just going to fire it manually by clicking the button. So let's pull some tweets and see what we get back. The Twitter account I'm pulling from is from a nonprofit that I co-founded in 2017 that does hurricane disaster relief called Operation Airdrop. They're a good use case for all of this low-code stuff we're talking about, so we'll talk about that a bit later. But in the meantime, we're going to look at their tweets. So when I run this, you see I get a message object returned to me, and this is what's in it. And the purple bits out on the left are either keys or names. You may see it described either way. And out to the right are their values. So this is not very hard to conceptualize. The best analogy I can think of that everybody should be familiar with is this is exactly the same as the way folders are displayed on your hard drive. I've got a Mac. This is going to be the same on Windows. Look at my music folder. If I change this to a list and look at all the music I've got in iTunes, that's exactly the same thing. It even looks the same. iTunes Media, Music, Audio Slave brings me to my Audio Slave albums. Yeah? A JavaScript object notation, JSON object, is exactly the same thing. Object is the top level item. You have a payload under message. So we're going message.payload, and then we have an array of items, which are our tweets. So message.payload.items, and they're numbered so that we can get at them individually if we need to. And under a tweet, we have an ID, which is the link to the tweet. We've got the full text of the tweet. Looks like we've got the full text of the tweet again with all of the HTML markup. And RSS Bridge is the name of the scraping scripts that I'm using. Looks like they add some of their own data in here as well. But the important thing is this is exactly the same as the folder structure on your hard drive. Let me get something out here that I can copy and paste into. So, and you bring up this menu in NodeRed by when you have a green debug node that's getting data from something else. You click on the little bug symbol here, and it will show you what your data being returned looks like. And we can go to any one of these, and let's go to message, payload, title. And if you notice, you hover over these, there's an option out here to copy the path. If I copy the path and paste, hey, look at that. There's the path, payload dot title. That's how you get at it. If we want to go to a specific tweet, let's go to tweet number 10 and get the link. So copy that path and paste. Message dot payload dot items number 10 in the array dot ID will get us here. It's exactly the same thing as the folders on your hard drive. That's what you need to know to visualize this. And this format is ubiquitous. Whether you're pulling data from an API, whether you're pulling, the last certain amount of activity from your Google spreadsheets by the Google API, whether you're pulling your last so many emails from Gmail, I don't care what kind of data you're getting. In 2020, this is what it's going to look like 99% of the time. So when you can conceptualize this and see it in your head, you pretty much got a lot of this stuff figured out. So, that's basically what you need to know about what data looks like. As I mentioned before, Operation AirDrop is a good example for what we're getting at here and why these low-code platforms are useful. And I'll pull up their website real quick so you can take a look. So when we started this was immediately after Hurricane Harvey hit Houston in 2017. I make my living doing software work and looking after people's servers, but I'm also a private pilot. I fly little airplanes. And some friends from the airport started this in the days after that hurricane because we realized that in the first 3 or 4 days after a hurricane hits, a lot of particularly smaller towns get cut off from the rest of the world because their roads are flooded. Or if the roads are not flooded, maybe their roads have trees in them. Maybe the roads have power lines and power poles in them. And when you're talking about a state like Texas that is slightly bigger in area than France, it's going to be a while before somebody comes to clear the road if you're in Beaumont and you're landlocked. And the problem we could solve with small airplanes is airplanes obviously don't care about roads. So we can deliver food, medicine, basic supplies to landlocked places in the first few days after one of these storms hits and keep them going in their shelters and with their vulnerable populations until the bigger trucks from Red Cross, National Guard, whoever get there. So that's what they do. And from a software and data standpoint, this is a unique problem. If you think about it, when Operation AirDrop decides that they need to go somewhere because a storm is hit and there are people that they can help, they don't have time to have a development meeting. There's not going to be a budget meeting either. There's not going to be bringing in 4 or 5 guys to put together a custom data solution over a period of weeks. You got 3 days. And after 3 days, you're going to be thinking about when it's time to pack up and go home. So when you're dealing with a 3-day schedule, you're going to be using whatever tools are the most time efficient, regardless of their quality. And the way that anybody can do what we've done with this organization is you have to get data before anybody else. You have to know, as well as, if not better than the state knows, what roads are flooded and what roads are okay. It doesn't make much sense to fly airplanes to places that you can drive to. So you got to figure out places that you can't get to. And you might not be able to call them and ask them because their telephones infrastructure may be down as well. So we've got to have ways to get data quickly, to process it quickly, and to decide and prioritize where we're going and what we're doing. And the budget is zero because it's a nonprofit. We get donations after the fact when everybody sees us in the news, but we're usually starting with zero money, and it's whatever you can build in 1 hour. I need data processed today, preferably in an hour or two. So again, there's not going to be any development meetings. There's not going to be a budget. There's not going to be any custom work over a period of weeks or months. It's right now. And this is a really good use case for how rapid development platforms that don't require a lot of code are going to be useful even for somebody who is capable of custom software development, just because you don't have time. You need to build something today to solve a problem today. And hopefully, if the low-code software development trend keeps up the way it has been, building up since 2015 when NodeRed came out up until now, it'd be nice if that's a reality. Optimally, at some point, people should be able to just throw together the tools they need in an hour or two and use them for 2 or 3 days and then throw them away and build new ones the next time they need them. There's no reason why this has to be a difficult project for a large team of people over a period of months. This is the best use case I can think of from my personal background, where these platforms make a lot of sense, and we're going to use the activity of this organization for a lot of examples. So that's all I got for this video. Next up, we'll actually do some stuff and accomplish some things. Thanks for watching.